It's Friday.
Hey, Mar, how are you doing?
Hey, Hank. Are you ready to decorate some cookies or for me to decorate some cookies?
I'm as ready as I could be. I mean, you're going to be decorating cookies, but first of all, welcome guys to our, what do we call it again? Every week I forget. Cookie lunch break. We wanted to thank you, Mickey, Belinda, and Justin for sending us stars in our last live. Thank you so much, guys. And where is everyone watching from? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we usually kick it off with a little hello to those of you who are watching. I see June is there. Hello, June.
Hey, everyone. So today, Marlene is actually going to make one of her inventions, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we could.
We're going to do paint a cookie. So can you tell me when you first thought of this idea?
So I just want to, I mean, it's always nice to pat oneself on the back a little bit. I came up with this, so you've seen it around, I'm sure, but I'm the one that was the inventor of this concept, the paint a cookie. And I was really into my airbrush. And so when you airbrush, if you've ever airbrushed, you usually get it all over the kitchen after when you're cleaning up. Well, I was wiping it down, all this color that had flown all over my kitchen. And so when I wiped my counter, all of a sudden I made a rainbow and my light bulb went off. I was like, wow, I could, use that to paint cookies. So that's kind of how it was all invented. So I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments there.
Yeah, people are joining us from all over. We have Sherry from North Carolina, Alabama, Texas. Hey, lady. Hey, Amy. Amy's joining us as well. Lisa, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Michigan. I'm excited to watch this live. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Yes,
hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
San Antonio, Texas, Ohio, Nova Scotia. We have so many people joining us. Thank you guys for watching and for tuning in for our weekly, or twice a week actually, cookie lunch. We are doing lives on Tuesdays and on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Central Time. That's a New York time for those of you who are watching outside of the US.
And if you miss it, you can rewatch it in our live stream playlist. They're up there to rewatch, so don't worry about if you missed it.
I see Justin just joined us. Thank you so much again for your support last time and before, for sending us the stars. If you don't know what the stars are, guys, Marlene, do you want to explain maybe what the stars are?
It's basically a tip jar, I guess we could call it. It's a thank you for if you enjoyed one of our live.
We did have a question because you get for the stars. Was it for every 50 stars? We get a how is it?
It's 1 for 1. So 1 star is 1 penny.
Okay, so we had a question: who gets the other 99 stars? So I guess it's the SEO. Who gets on Facebook? Yeah, I guess he gets 99 cents and we get 1 cent, just so you know. We're clear on that. We have other folks joining us again, Ohio. I enjoy the Tuesday and Friday lives. Thank you so much. We do enjoy them as well. It makes us feel connected with you guys, and we get to chat with Mara as well. So that's really nice.
Exactly.
Hello from Italy. Hello, everyone. So thank you for joining us. As we said before, today Marlene is going to decorate a paint a cookie. So she first decorated paint a cookie in, you said 2016, was it the first one?
Yeah,
I felt like it was before that.
2016 was the birth of it. And so since then, I've always tried to improve the idea. So I think you added the link in the description box, eh, Han?
I'm going to include the link right now. What you're seeing on the screen, it's a playlist that Marlene has on her YouTube channel. And you can access this playlist by clicking on the link that I just posted in a comment. you can watch all of these paint a cookie ideas that Marlene created.
So these are past videos, but we're going to do it live today, and I'm going to talk about like improvements on the idea, and you know, like just kind of so that it goes well. So why would you make a paint a cookie? Like, what's the point of a paint a cookie? Well, you're essentially selling not only a decorated like treat, you're making an activity. And so people love them because, you know, kids and adults get to actually like decorate the cookie. So you could make them bare, just white icing, but by giving it more like a coloring page look, well, the kids like that. And like I say, the adults do as well. And you can come in and paint that and sell it as this kind of dual thing. It's a favor and activity. And now with the Corona thing, well, like I saw kids are doing these kind of like drive-by birthdays. Well, you could have these like in a basket and they could drop off their gift and leave with a little activity, and maybe the kids could Zoom together and paint together. I mean, it's going to be a tricky Halloween, a tricky Thanksgiving, and a tricky Christmas. So, and these are very, very popular. If you sell cookies as a market, like for marketing, these are really popular. And so let's just first start with the lines on these cookies. So here, this is an older version. So you can do them just with icing yourself, no stencil, wet on wet. So you're dropping your black line in a white base. And you can see here, these are just white cookies that I iced in a black line, and I came in with a marker. The marker is great. It allows you to get in and color the details, but markers are expensive. And if you're selling this to customers, well, you can't include a $10 pack of markers with your $5 cookie. It's just not feasible. And that's why I came up with the palette, so that you could do this more affordably. So it's important for the line that, like the coloring page lines, that those be in icing. I've seen people either use a marker or airbrush those lines on. If you use a marker or you're airbrushing your design, like the thing you're planning on painting, well, those will also be activated by water. The marker, when you get it wet, and the airbrush, when you get it wet, it gets all muddy. So you need to have that be icing. As soon as you mix the color in the icing, it becomes sort of waterproof. So you'll be able to paint without smearing all those, you know, like the pretty design. Am I going too fast, Han?
I'm trying to breathe for you.
So, okay.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. We don't have any questions yet, but we have people coming in. So thank you again for joining us. Jacqueline says, please everybody hit the thumbs up. Totally agree with that. So everyone loves them, the cookies. What about, Andrea is asking, what about using light coating of chocolate glaze spray with a marker? Well,
you could, but so everybody has their level of what's acceptable. I don't love the glaze to feed to my kids. If you're like, it's for consumption, you know what I mean? And so I don't love it for that. Like, that's why I've preferred now to make the paint palette apart from the cookie. When I first invented it, I had the paint palette incorporated in the cookie. Now I've got
to give more details, I guess. That's what Andrea is saying. To give, what are you using a light coating of chocolate glaze spray with marker to give more details?
Well, the marker, yeah, like the marker, I guess you can draw more details, but you can have stencils that are very detailed, like the one before here, this one, like this. And the thing is you're still able to be creative. Like, these are my drawings. I cut the stencils. And all of my paint a cookie stencils that I've made are available in my Etsy store. I think that link is also going to be in the description box. If I can pop my hand camera on here, we'll pop this just to show you here, these. So these are some of this year's drawings that I did. So these are all compatible with Anne Clark cookie cutters. So this is Anne Clark, the little what is this again? Nutcracker.
Nutcracker. Mhm.
the whole Santa and
Did
Rudolph.
you just make the nutcracker? I was in your Etsy shop. Did you make? I haven't seen that. You have not shared it with me.
Oh, well, sorry. Yeah,
And I thought you share everything.
sorry. So yeah, so you can be creative and add detail with stencils, and you can do that with icing. It's just the stencil allows you to work so much faster. That's what, and the faster you
Oh, with this guy, especially, he's so detailed.
yeah, and obviously the faster you're working, the more money you're making, the more you're able to produce, right? And so
Santa is really cute as well, and I like the Rudolph. What's underneath? You have two Santas.
yeah, I
one
have
standing,
both
one
standing,
just
and
ahead.
then this one, they're cute, and then him.
And you have all of these in your Etsy shop, right?
Yeah, so you can use these.
So I added the link, folks, into the comments to Marlene's Etsy shop if you wanted to check it out. She also has other stencils there.
Yeah, I have Halloween ones that go with the Sweet Sugar Bell Halloween set. So I try to match them with cookie cutters so that you can kind of like, you know, decorate them more.
No, just to clear it up, you're not selling stencils per se. You're selling templates.
Yeah.
So you guys can make your own stencils with stencil cutter.
That's right, the silhouette. And that's in
Silhouette.
I made an Amazon kind of shopping list. That again, also in the description box for today. So we've talked about the lines. So you need to have the actual like cookie to decorate. So we'll do one right now. Here, let me just switch the view here. So we'll do one right now. So I came up with
this. So we have, I'm going to interrupt you. So Patty has a question. So those are done wet on wet?
Yeah. So these are wet on wet cookies. Let me grab my icing. So this was
Emily is asking, did I miss what you used to get the design on a cookie? So like that's in regards to stencils.
So these we're going to do it in a second. We're going to start with the wet on wet.
We'll come back to that later.
Yeah, we're so much stuff today.
So much stuff today. I made banana bread. What did you make?
I didn't do any baking today, but you know, my brain, this is, you know, I'm such all over the place, but that's my brain. My brain is like, I'm up at 4 in the morning.
I forgot to add the egg. Okay, so I'm there with you. I had to scrape it out the pan and add the egg, and
I've done that.
I hope it's gonna taste all right because
I've done that before.
Oh, it says that the feed is breaking up. Are you guys seeing us all right? I don't see any delays, but let us know in the comments. Hopefully everything looks okay now.
Because I'm hardwired today. So this guy here is a little side butterfly, and I'm going to start here. I'm going to flip him over because
this looks like a cookie cutter. Where is this cutter from?
It's from Etsy. I didn't add the link to this particular cutter. It's an Etsy purchase. If you look up side butterfly, there isn't a whole lot of them. So I'm just adding here the head.
Apparently we see both, but you sound like you're underwater, both of you. Well, it's a long time to be underwater, so it's a choppy voice. Yeah, we have, I guess, the something is going on. It's the sound that's choppy. I assume you will explain the color palette you make yourself. Oh, thank you so much, Donna, for the super chat contribution.
So all you're doing, like, because it's like more of a defined drawing, I did come in, add the line right at the edge of the cutter. This cutter is, you know, there's all kinds of cutters. This cutter is very defined in its details, like it's very shaped. So I find that it's easier to add the outline and then fill.
I have a question. Is it both of our voices, or just is it Mar, or is it me that is choppy? Now image is breaking up. Let me see directly on Facebook, because we are in a stream.
Because I'm seeing the stream health. It looks fine.
Maybe it's how it's being fed to Facebook. Oh, I see. It is a little bit choppy. I see the ticker is a bit. Well, I suppose as long as you can see us, we're going to. We're not sure what's going on. Can you say something?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, sound is not clear. Video is fine. Okay, so I suppose. Yeah, it's my voice that is breaking up. I wonder.
Now I've added the black end part and dropping. So you want to have things for them to color. So that's why I'm adding here. You can't really color black icing. So I'm coming in and adding white dots. You can paint them. If you do the black line on top, you can. It's a bit easier. You're less rushed. But black line on top can like flake off as they're painting. So that's why I don't really recommend that you do that.
Okay, how is the voice now?
You sound
Just curious. I seem more choppy because I'm talking more. Yes, I do. So it's yes. On Etsy you can find the templates. Marlin create templates that you guys can use to create your own stencils. Even if you, I feel like, well, I don't have a stencil cutter, but even I could probably get a good use out of some of the stencils Marlin has, even without the cutter. Because I would use an X-Acto knife just so I get some kind of guidelines, and then I would use a marker.
Well, you can use them also, those templates, with a projector.
Okay, so people are saying it's better, but I guess it's not, like, video is okay. Are you on YouTube also? Yes. Marlon is broadcasting to YouTube as on YouTube. We both have YouTube channels.
So I'm just working relatively quickly, since you want to have everything synced together so that it all becomes basically one layer of icing, so that there's not like it's not lifted above the white. That black line sinks into, oh, I forgot my dots. So like I say, you need to have these dots in the black icing so that they get something to paint, or else black, it's kind of hard to paint on top of black.
Yeah. Debbie says that a turkey would be so cute for Thanksgiving. Absolutely. I would love to see it.
So now I'm just pulling to get a little bit more of a butterfly look, right?
I have not seen this cutter, I have to admit.
Well, there isn't a lot of side butterflies. I've not seen the side butterfly a whole lot. And I mean, butterfly is so popular. So here now, I don't think would have filled all this, but just because of the nature of this, it's a paint-a-cookie. So I am adding the white here to add the antenna. Some
We have
people,
a question. Yes, go ahead.
Some people don't like cookie exposed. I find it's fine. Everybody
I like cookies exposed. It's fine. Hold on. This is not what I wanted to. Where's the question? Any hints? Nicole is asking, any hints so that the black doesn't bleed into the white? Thank you.
I find that the brand you're using matters. So I don't know what brand you're using. Ideally, add a little bit of white food color in your white icing, and try to get them to dry as fast as possible. So a fan or something like that. Now the eye, I'm not just doing a dot. I'm going to come in and add a little white dot in the middle of that black dot again, so that it becomes an outline so that they can color it. And if you don't want to do the smile, you don't have to. Again, it gives them something to add, but I'm just going to add a little line here.
What's the piping tip that you're using here?
This is small. This is 1.5, this particular
Oh,
one.
is it 1.5? Okay, I thought it was smaller. So yeah, you don't want to use a tip that is too thick, because as you are doing wet on wet, the icing will sink in and it will spread. So your lines will be super thick. So thinner you go, better.
This one is less, like, this one is fatter. It was a tipless bag I did. This one's a little bit, I think, a little tidier.
I do like the one on the left, though. Like, I like the lines a bit thicker.
And you see
here,
like
they're more accentuated.
Yeah, I mean, it did turn out, but I like the stress of being live. So this one here, I don't know if you see, it's not jet black. You don't have to go to this dark, dark black. That's another contributing factor to bleeding. So you can take it, people don't need to have everything like screamed at them. You know, you can go to dark gray and it's dark enough.
You could even use brown. Like, I mean,
you could,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I've seen actually it done, this wouldn't work, but in the stenciling, I've seen people do white on white. So then the kids can color the outline and then they come in and color. It just creates more stuff to color. So I'm just going to move this guy because he's wet.
So we do have a question Julie's asking from YouTube. What would you give people to color the cookie with besides expensive edible markers?
We're going to do that in a second. We're going to look at the paint palette in 2 seconds. Right now, we're just finishing up our cookies, the 2 versions of the cookies. And then
Julie, we will get back to that in once Marlon finishes here.
So this is dried overnight, and you can see here it's nice and smooth. We'll be able to color it, and I just wanted to show you this is the stenciled version. Now this is a casket cookie, but I designed a kind of Halloween cupcake. I wanted to do something that had a lot of details to color. A casket wouldn't be much fun, just a big brown cookie with maybe a skull or something on it. And now here you can see, now the cookie's dried overnight.
Now the tool that Marlon is using, you can find that in her Amazon shop, and I did add the link into the comment section. It's a stencil holder. It's a genie stencil holder. Is that right?
This one, yeah.
Okay.
So let me just get properly in the, is this there?
No worries, Julie. No worries at all.
So there's the cookie, and now I'm using a much thicker icing. This icing is more like peanut butter, I would say. And if you're using a runny icing, it tends to get under the stencil more. So this, you know, you don't want to have it like extremely thick, but thick enough so that it doesn't smush under the cookie, under the stencil, I should say. So I'm holding it in position. I've got it all well aligned. I like to use clear plastic so that I can actually see where I'm putting my stuff. I've got my icing. This is Sugar Bell's spatula. This is a great spatula to do this. And I'm just, now you're essentially pushing the icing in the openings of your stencil and you're removing excess. The higher icing you have, like excess icing, the more like crumbs it does in your bag. So you want to get it as flat as possible. So you remove your icing. And now I'm going to lift it off. And there we have our cookie that will, and this dries super fast. It's a very small amount of icing. What was that comment, Ken? I didn't see. Is there a question?
Oh, no, this is, oh, we do have a question. Does the watercoloring melt the icing when painting? How long do you suggest to let the cookies harden?
Well, you let them dry overnight, and sure, the water could potentially melt if you're, you know, dealing with young children that are really adding a lot of color, of water. But at this point, they're eating it after. They don't, you know, they're not going to be so worried about it. You want to not add too much water. And when you're giving a 3-year-old a cookie to paint, you don't want to give them that 94 proof we always say to use.
Yeah, well.
So again, I'm doing it again. Exactly the same thing.
Probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea. That's right. Now my icing was already drying. And the other fantastic thing about cutting your own stencils is you could have multiple
Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's examine June's comment. Why not? Well, I don't know, June. You have little
Grandkids.
munchkins there, so I wonder what would happen.
So yeah, like I was saying, the great thing about cutting your own stencils, they cost roughly $5 a piece. Well, if you're cutting them yourself, and you have a huge production to do, you could cut 3 or 4 out of this inexpensive plastic and not be constantly running to the sink and washing them. You know, it just allows you to work quicker. You can have maybe multiple people working on them.
Oh, Julie has an idea. Adult coloring pages.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, for some reason it would not. Okay, here we go. I wanted to show that comment. That's a good idea. That's a fun idea. And then you could serve it with alcohol.
You could. I don't know how good the coloring is going to look at the end, but you could. So here they are. So this audience.
Oh, so Melissa says she uses extract instead of water, and it works well.
Okay. So this looks very nice, but this, as you saw, is much faster. So if you want to design your own whatever drawing, perfect. You're still able to be creative, but also efficient. So
okay, so Donna is asking, how many times can you use the stencil before you need to wash it?
I think that if you're using, like, if you need it to be perfectly aligned, it's probably like 5-6 times, you know.
Oh really? Okay, so you're doing, because when I do stenciling, I usually do 3 with Royal, and then I wash it. It is so 5 times. That's excellent. But then you wash it, and do you pet dry like paper towels?
In a paper towel.
Yeah,
I put it in between a paper towel. I mean, it's really the you know, the thing is about that other stencil holder, the Sweetest Tears one. Well, that one you can kind of stencil blind, right? We'll use that in a future live stream and show it. But that's kind of the one where you don't have to see the cookie. You're really very aligned automatically with that stencil holder.
So the Betty is asking, where did you get the stencil cutter? Would that be Cricut?
I use a Silhouette myself because of the ability to use JPEGs and PNGs. It recognizes those. I'm pretty sure from everything I've seen, Cricut needs SVGs, and SVGs require you to be a little bit more tech savvy with regards to digital images. So it's doable, but not, you know. I'm noticing here that I had done it the wrong way. You see, I didn't align my, I flipped it. And
there's no wrong way. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like see the point here?
It's a perfect fit. Look how they fit together.
No, the cupcake liner, I was wondering why it wasn't fitting, and now I see why. Yesterday I was trying to prepare, because this one, it fits perfectly. I really like this little cupcake. It's cute.
It is very cute.
So now,
if you...
let's look at, any questions before we move on to
so we have, let's just go through these comments before I can see them anymore. So we have you done a class on cutting stencils?
I have a few videos on in my paid groups with regards to cutting stencils. Yes, I do.
And that's on Facebook. Marlene has a paid Facebook group. June is saying, if you use the Sweetest Tears stencil holder, you can do about 11 runs with the stencil, but the stencil can be expensive.
Yeah.
Where do you find stencils? Melissa is asking. So you don't find stencils per se. You can get templates to make your own stencils in Marlene's Etsy shop, and the link is in the comments. And then you need a machine
to cut
stencils. You need a clear stencil plastic material miler.
Yeah.
You used 0.4?
0.004. That's my preferred plastic to cut a stencil.
Baby wipes work great.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't thought of that. Can you airbrush over the stencil for the outline, or would it wash away? Yeah, we talked about this in the beginning of the video.
Yeah, when you airbrush, well, then you're essentially creating a watercolor like line. That line is going to get mucked up. Here, if you can see, I'm going to try to tilt it. You can see after I was done stenciling, I actually came in and iced in white to elevate some of the design so that when you paint, see the eyes and the nose, the mustache and the eyebrows are like a second layer. So it just gives the design a little bit more dimension. It makes it a little less flat. Again, another feature for you to be like, add some creativity. The Rudolph, I did the same thing for his nose so that you can kind of come in.
We have Betty's asking if you have a link to your, is the link to your stencil cutter in your shop?
Yeah, it is. It's with that picture of today's project where I have
Okay,
on
so
the Amazon
I'll grab
store.
the direct link now. Anything you purchase, just so we make that clear, anything you purchase through the links that we post to Amazon, we get a small commission on all the purchases. But we only link through things that we love and we've used over the years. So I just put a direct link to today's live supplies that Marlene is using today, and there is her Silhouette Portrait 2 electronic cutting tool. So it's around, I would say, $250 or something like that.
Well, they actually,
if you have a Prime, I don't know if they use Prime. The shipping cost is about $80.
they have Prime on certain units. They just actually came out with a new machine that's a compact machine. So it cuts, the standard machine cuts 12 inches wide. And now this new compact machine, which is less expensive, cuts 8 inches, which is plenty for cookie stencils. So that one is $199 American, which I think is, I mean, I love my stencil cutter. I use it for almost every project now. That's how I lay my
She loves it. She loves it as much as the airbrush, which is something to say.
They're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. Okay, so here they are. My 3 versions will be coloring today. So now we need to make our paint palette. So let's look at that. So initially, when I first started doing these, the first version, if we look here, let me find that picture. For the first version, this one here, the one we see in the corner to the left there, well, that was Royal Icing squares that I made, transfers, and then I airbrushed them, and then I embedded them in the icing, and then they were like incorporated in the cookie. It became like everything was inside the cookie. The second version there, you'll see that's little Royal Icing transfers, again, made into paint palettes, but more kind of part of the design, like the butterfly body, the owl's wings. And then for the third one, the Scarecrow, is when I thought I came up with the best idea. Here, let's go back to my hands, is this. So this is a tongue, what do they call them? Depressor, compressor, forget the name. A tongue thing that when you go to the doctor,
waxing tool.
And so what I love about this is that you can make them in advance, because the other ones, like there's a certain amount of like, you need to work while the cookies are being made. It takes time. This can be made in advance. Like you could be working on your paint palettes right now for Christmas and start stockpiling your...
Oh, just so you know, it's called tongue depressor.
Depressor.
Oh, that's
and so here I basically just added icing to these pieces of wood. And these are actually craft sticks. I found these at the dollar store. They're wider and longer. So this is, I think, 7 inches. This was, I think, $2. Look, I have a ton of them. And so here it is. Do I have my other...
You can get them really cheap on Amazon.
Yes, this is something.
You can get like hundreds of them on Amazon. They do have different sizes as well.
Yes, they come in different sizes. I wouldn't use popsicle sticks. They're a little bit narrow.
Narrow, yeah.
It would be a bit narrow. So the thing I like about this is you can make it in advance. The kids are, well, I've heard some kids lick them and eat the sugar off of them, but you know, they're not normally eating it. And you can add, let's say it's a big cookie, you can maybe put 2 in there, or it just gives you a little bit more freedom. So this, I've piped on the wood in icing. But this, again, takes time. So what I did is I came up with a stencil here. I designed the stencil to go with this, exactly the right size, you see? And I actually, that's what I wanted them to be perfectly like aligned. So I did it like this and I piped inside the holes. And I said, well, why am I piping when I can stencil it on? So we'll do that right now. I'll show you. So you could just, the great thing is you can do this in steps. So night 1, you spackle on the icing. Night 2, you paint. Night 3, you wrap. You know, you don't have to do everything on the same day. So I'm just going to get my icing. So here's my white icing. And I'm just going to lay the stencil on there. So you can see through the plastic so you can align it. So this is basically the first time I've ever done it like this. You guys are seeing it.
What do you mean?
I've never spackled or used a stencil to add the icing to these wooden sticks. Usually I piped it, but this is even faster and there's no need to pipe.
Just add a bit, maybe make it a little thicker.
Yeah.
Don't go all the way to the stencil so you have some height to it. And that's it.
And then you lift it off and there's your paint palette in one fell swoop. And then you just lay them on a cookie sheet to dry overnight. And then
we have a question from Amy. Amy's asking, I have to really cut you off there. You're like a...
Well, I do have the M&Ms here and I'll show those. That was done.
You have everything ready. Look how ready she is.
Yes. But I did the M&Ms for an Easter egg one and it's fine. But I like this just because it's like even easier. So it's not about that one is like better. It's again, for me, how can I work faster and more efficiently? And that's all like I'm always thinking about. I'm thinking about speed and ease. That's what I'm trying to think about. I used to, have a little home business myself, and I know how important it is to be productive, to work quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to just put this one aside because it's wet. So what are you going to use to actually create, like add the pigment here? So I use airbrush colors because airbrush colors dry nicely and they don't remain so tacky. You can use food gel, the stuff you use to color your icing. The thing is, if you do use the food gel and you paint it on, I recommend that you probably dust it after with some cornstarch so that the surface can dry. Here, today I actually was at the grocery store and I purchased, the food color that we don't really recommend. It's not that it's bad, it's just not as intense. This is the grocery store food color that's very liquidy, that you would have to add a lot of color to. So this was $3 Canadian. So if we look, in my case, it's $3 for one bottle of food gel. So this is all I think that I would need to color a cookie. This, I just took the bottle and I added a drop, and you can see it does look a bit messy because the wood absorbed that drop. Ideally, I guess I would paint it on so that there would be less actual color. So you could squeeze these little drops into a paint palette and then just either with a Q-tip or a paintbrush paint on the color. So we'll use this one after to experiment to paint one of these butterflies. But now you would lay this on a paper towel and you could airbrush them. So either you could use these grocery store colors, you could use food gel. Food gel's not my favorite, but I understand some people don't have airbrush. You don't have to own an airbrush to buy airbrush color. So if you don't own an airbrush, that doesn't matter. So airbrush colors all come in the same colors, Amer color anyway, as the food gel. So you can match. And I like it to paint, actually. It's very liquidy, so you don't have that kind of gunky aspect that food gel has. So I'm going to show you all airbrush. But before I just do this one, I'll just show you my other version, and then we'll paint them all. So this is actually also in my Etsy store. So I came up with this version, again, so that the kids don't eat it. So it's like this, you see? And so then when I close it, I'm able to exactly pipe my icing dots. And then I open it, I'm able to airbrush the dots. The mess is there. And so when I reclose it, everything is pristine, clean, and white. Do I have a picture there? No. And then to top it off, here, let's show on this one. When you lift this up here, you can put your paintbrush there. So it becomes a little paint palette that holds the little paintbrush. So you see, you can put this in with the cookie. Look at how cute that is. So that becomes like very, if you're doing maybe a corporate order, you could have a business sticker in the middle there, and that could be like very professional. And I have it in this format as well. So you can have 6 color dots. So we'll just color these and we'll see like how this comes out. Let me get my paper towel so I don't get...
Maybe somebody can translate for us.
Yes, I have no idea. Sorry.
So we have Sherry is asking, I use Wilton color gels for icing my cookies and cakes. Is there better coloring items, or are there better coloring items to use? Now, if you're happy with the results that you're getting, why change something that is not broken?
Exactly. Wilton is a good, you know, I mean, I prefer AmeriColor. I find they have just a wider variety of colors right out of the bottle. For me, I'm not a big mixer. Some people like to make all their own colors. I like to squeeze and be done. That's kind of like my, I'm a lazy decorator. So I've got pink in here. And so if you want to be very clean, you can put that plastic shield back on to protect the wood. Here I'm adding the pink to this dot here. And then I'm actually adding it to this one so that this, after when I add the yellow, I'm going to get orange. So I'm not having to open 5 colors. I'm going to use the color wheel to make my secondary colors, okay? So here, same thing.
And Marlon is using wireless airbrush.
Yes, that's also in the in
the Amazon shop. Yes, indeed. So for those of you who are just joining us, guys, Marlon is demonstrating her take on Paint a Cookie that she invented years ago. And she started off showing you using what technique, creating outlines. Then we did stenciling. Now we are on to creating palettes using royal icing and airbrush.
So do you see I have my orange without having to actually like take, I have orange. It's not because I don't have it. It's just saves a bit of time.
Andrea is asking, I've heard people say that they use colored dots of royal icing, like leftover icing to use, that then it could be used to paint. Have you ever tried that?
So that you can use the leftover icing to make your dots, but those dots are, the icing is colored, it's mixed in the color, so it's not going to be activated with the water. Like as soon as you mix in the food color into the icing and it's not just a surface, like it's not going to be activated by water. It's like it has to be just on the surface of the icing, so painted on, not mixed in. So they're maybe using it to do the dots, but they're not going to work until you actually paint them. So you see here, I'm making the green. I had painted that 2, or I actually did 3 in the yellow. And so this one here becomes green. There we go. And here, so I'll show you quickly. So all I do is usually I'll add with the icing, because I don't want to add like non-food safe things. So the icing, I know it's good. So that's kind of what I use to glue it together. So I just put the royal icing like that. And you see it becomes super tidy. You don't have any, oh, well, my fingers are dirty there, but it's very like, so wash your hands before you actually put it together. Right now,
you could even add your logo on the palette.
yes.
On the top. That would be.
You should not.
Good marketing. Yes, honey.
If you're selling cookies, your cookies should not leave your house if they're bagged without your logo on them at some place. A sticker needs to be on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we have a question from Sandy. Sandy is asking, is getting a second airbrush a good idea?
Well, I have 5. So I personally do think it's a good idea. If you're working with a lot of colors and you airbrush a lot, well, every time you want to move on to the other color, you have to wash out that airbrush. So you're wasting your food color. You're not able to work as easily. Like if you're coloring, like let's say a picture with crayons, imagine if you had to make a new crayon every time you needed another color, instead of being able to simply grab that color. Just the ease of work is just so much more kind of natural. You're able to, oh, now I need the pink, now I need the blue, now, instead of, oh, I have to go run to the sink and wash it out. And then, you know, oh, now, oh, I forgot then you forgot to do a section and you have to go back and put that color that you use. It's just, for me, it was worth the investment to buy those units.
So Tammy is asking, I guess you missed that part of the video. Do they stick closed with a tape, or how do they stay closed? So Marlene used real icing for the glue to glue the paper together. So it usually does help.
So if you wanted here, you could get, you know, they sell a washi tape. For those of you who don't know what washi tape, it's just decorative Scotch tape, and you
we have another question. Sorry to interrupt you. Lindsay is asking, and this makes me laugh. Is there a palette designed with 6 dots instead of 5? The lack of purple kind of bugs me.
Well, this one here is 6. This one. So the thing, you can, like, this is the primary colors, but like in some cases, you don't even want these colors. Like, let's say for Halloween, you're doing a certain design, you're going to want maybe certain colors for that particular, you know. You can customize them based on whatever the cookie is. So this one here is 6. See, this here is 3 inches wide, and you could cut a hole and do the purple dead center. I had left the center for the logo sticker, but you could certainly cut that middle to put the purple. And these here on the sticks, you could crowd them more together, I guess, to fit a 6 dot. I like the little bit of a space in between. And here you can see how much tidier they look. These are the most tidy looking, these ones here. This one here, the color's very intense though, but it's a little bit messier looking. And then they sell these guys. These are ready-made pallets. I haven't been able to see where they're actually made. That's a question you want to ask. If anything's coming out of China, you should, you know, be a little concerned. I'm not sure where these are made, and they're much more expensive than if you're making them yourself. If you're making your paint palettes yourself with leftover icing and a bottle of food color, it'll last you a long time, and then you can package them. So let's look at that. So there's paintbrushes.
So we have a couple questions coming in. So Patty is asking, speaking of your logo on your package, do you need to have ingredients listed also to sell them? Now, I would say this highly depends on the location where you are, what the laws are in regards to that. But it's always a good idea to say what's, you know, especially nowadays, people have all kinds of allergies, so you probably may want to include some of the information. Obviously, you don't want to post your recipe on the ingredients list, but I would check definitely with the laws that you are obligated, if whether you are obligated, or is it a, you know, they give you a freedom whether you.
But it's like when you go buy a birthday cake, the ingredients aren't on the box. But if you buy a cookie alone that's wrapped like from a company, usually like that's got the label on. So I think it depends. Like if you're buying something from a bakery and like several of them. You're usually not buying one cookie at a time. You're buying like a box set of them. So here
we have another question. We have more questions, Mar. So I'm gonna try to read them all. Tammy's asking, can you use double-sided tape or smart dots? I
think so. Sure,
absolutely.
that's a good idea.
Amy is asking, and I guess this is a question for me. Do you think you're going to set up a supporter group through Facebook like Marlon has? I am thinking about it. Well, I do have Patreon. I have not been very active on there, and I do have to thank everyone who is still supporting me on Patreon. Once we are done through this move and I'm more settled, I think I will enjoy doing more of these things. So hopefully I will do either Facebook or I will continue Patreon, which is very similar to Facebook, Facebook type of support group. Lisa is asking, I was trying to figure out what fun things I could do with the grandkids for Halloween since we can be with other people. This is perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
we are glad that you are enjoying this. Yes, Nicole is making a good point. In the US, people need to check their state cottage law. That's in regards to whether to include ingredients on the packaging if you are selling your cookies or other baked goods.
So here's what it looks like if you want to wrap it up. So these are great because the tongue depressor, because you can add your paintbrush. It's exactly the right length.
So is this the pretzel
bag?
Yeah, or is it?
No, this I folded it. See, it's big.
Oh, you folded it. So I wonder if it would fit in because the pretzel ones there, I think 2 inch. Is it 2 inches? Not the pretzel rods for the pretzel rods. I think
that would be perfect actually.
It would probably fit. I think it would probably fit in that.
That's a good idea, but I didn't have them. So you can package them now and have them ready for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for Halloween. You can start your production of your paint palettes right now and put them away. And here, this one here, you see these little paintbrushes are smaller. The hole, maybe you'd want to cut it tight. Let's see this one here if it fits a little.
I'm thinking like for, let's say you can be with the family for Thanksgiving and somebody suggested doing turkeys. Imagine you made, I don't know, you have 20 family members you normally have for Thanksgiving. You send them each a cookie, you have a Zoom meeting, and you all decorate together. That might be a fun thing to do.
Yes, exactly. To kind of virtual.
We do have Lindsay's in Texas. You have to put address and ingredients on the labels.
Oh yeah.
Well, Texas hasn't been. It's been only a few years, right? They didn't have an option to have the home kitchen, bakery, right? I think it was only approved a couple years ago, I think. Jennifer is asking, I missed it, sorry. Do you sell these on your website? Do you have a link? Now, Mar, do you sell these palettes, the templates for the palettes?
What I sell is a digital file so that you can cut them yourself and make them yourself. So you see here, the paintbrush fits and it becomes like just this. And then you could add your sticker on the back, and it's just very professional.
On Etsy, Jennifer, so you can find it on Etsy, and link is in the comments.
And so it's just a different format. I made it in 2 ways. I do like the tongue depressor, and what I love about these is that the kids aren't eating it. So now we mentioned M&Ms. So candies, as we know, candies, often when you eat a candy, depending on the kind, after you've eaten a few of them, your tongue is the color of the candy. And so they're activated by water. And so that's what kind of stemmed this idea when I did these. But I didn't find it was giving enough color. So I actually was using like the green ones and I airbrushed them. And so you can see on one side, they're darker than the other. So I airbrushed, and then you can just drop these, and they look very similar to those other round palettes, and you can drop them in the icing, and then they're getting a little bite of chocolate. You can do this with the Skittles. The Skittles, I think, are more activated with water. Like if you wet them, the color comes out a bit more, but it's not a really intense color, but it's cute. And if your cookie's not big and there's not a whole lot to color, it's fine. You could certainly use that, use the candies. And I did, like I say, paint them to get a little bit more pigment. Another thing that I did is I actually laid mesh on them and then put like my stencil holder so that they wouldn't fly everywhere, because if you airbrush these, they're really light and they were flying all over the place. So if you want to hold them in place, you just get like a veil, or your if you have a silk screen holder for your stencils, that would work great. You rest it on your candies and you could airbrush them. And sort them by the color. So don't airbrush the yellow ones, let's say in blue, just so that you can kind of quickly know what color's what. So do we paint this guy?
Okay, we have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Andrea, and since Andrea has lots of questions, I also noticed that Andrea turned 40 in a quarantine, so happy birthday. Belated birthday. How would you attach the palette bag to the cookie, or just give it separately?
What do you mean the palette? Yeah, I would just give them separately. Or in this case, like let's say something like this, it could be like in a separate bag and put in the back like that, you see? And so then it's like nice and compact. I think you can decide the paint palette based on like the kind you're going to use, based maybe on your cookie cutter.
Mary is asking, what is the paint palette made out of? Is it plastic?
It's cardstock. And I forgot to mention one thing I had wanted to say. If those of you that own a edible printer, so a printer to print digital photos, like like now you see pictures on the cakes and all that. Well, you can use that to make your paint palette. So you can make a little like rectangle of the colors, the dots, print it, and then cut those and use that, because that's activated by water. So you can make your little paint palettes using if you have a printer, you can use that to make your paint palettes. I've actually, I had a printer eons ago, but it dried out. And this, if you eat stuff made with an edible printer, you'll have that on your tongue as well. So that's the test. If it makes your tongue red, you can use it for a painted cookie.
Another question is, so this is back to the palettes. So those you also cut with your silhouette cutter, right?
I did cut them with my silhouette, yes.
So you can use silhouette to cut the cardstock. You can use it to cut through plastic to make more durable stencils, correct?
Oh, I mean,
you had done. I've seen you do, because I don't have a silhouette cutter, but you have a silhouette cutter, and I have seen you done cardstock a couple months ago. I remember you did like a quick stencil. It was a cardstock, and right, you did. So you can use silhouette cutter to make the paint palettes as well, Sandy.
Yeah.
And
the other
Donna
thing
is saying she loves the depressor style. So everybody, yeah. So you use what you find works well for your style.
Oh, I love the stencil, also the silhouette, to cut my if I'm hand cutting cookies, I can cut my cardstock template to then go and cut my cookies.
We have
so we'll paint this guy quickly, because it's already been an hour, Han.
Yes, I know.
Information today.
So slow.
I got so fast. I've got so much to say. There he is. Okay, so now this is just water in this little plastic container here.
And you can get these. I think the brushes, they're not very expensive, right? You can get these, I think, cheap in like a bulk.
I found them on Amazon, so I did add them to the shop there. And
no, I've never done this. I've never done a painted cookie.
Well,
you need to send me some.
So you have them for the kids, let's say, at an event, and the kids will be the parents will be fighting to get their hands on one as well.
Time goes way too fast. Yes, it does. Yes, it definitely does. I can't believe it. We are only so far from Christmas. Oh, I can't believe I said Christmas, but yes. Okay, so we have, or Lindsay says, or have different colors, and if you do a craft show, have it where they pick their own cookie and palette. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea. Have different colors, and they can mix and match their cookies with the palettes they want. Amy says, "Oh, you just changed my life. I have an edible image printer. I didn't know this."
So do a prototype, Amy, and try like a few of them, and then you just cut them in strips, and you can.
June is saying embroidery hoop works as well with tulle in it. So I guess this is in regards to holding the
Yes.
M&Ms in place. For those of you who would like to use the M&M.
You make sure that you wash your paintbrush in between colors, because the more you mix colors, the more you're basically just going to create like a brown.
They are very bright, the neons. The green, it was that yellow and green. Yeah, that is very bright.
So this is that low end. Here, let's try the blue. It's the low end kind of grocery store, inexpensive food color.
So Donna is asking, and this is a good question. I like this question. Do you make special stencil requests? I mean, I know you're not selling stencils per se, but do you take a
Well,
special request if you want to create a template?
Yeah, sure. If you need something, I can. I mean, like, I don't want, but I can do them relatively quickly. I've gotten to the point now where it's, and then I'll add it to the shop. You see?
Do you feel like a little child now?
Eh?
Do you feel like a child?
Do
a
I
little bit? Did it take you back to your childhood coloring?
Oh, it is fun. It is fun.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is fun. And so here's the cupcake. If you've not made,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you haven't made them before and you have these at a little event, you will be the hit. And if you're adding these, like, let's say corporate events, or, you know, like they have sometimes these family corporate events, like this is a great thing to put in your portfolio as a product to offer.
Petty Boo says, so cute, Marlene. Hello, I hope you are doing well. Donna says, it's great. Julie, so cute. Would love to use those in play therapy with my kiddos. Please sell the actual stencils. I would buy them.
The reason I don't sell stencils is because I just, like, honestly, I spend so much time creating tutorials and filming and editing. It's just a lack of time. There's just so much, you know, that's basically the reason. It's just because I don't have the time to, I mean, manage the orders and ship them and all that. It's just a lack of time. I'm so busy just coming up with the next idea.
How about freezing these for planning ahead for Christmas? Well, you don't need to freeze I guess if you mean the pallets, you don't have to freeze the pallets.
Well, the cookies, maybe she's meaning the cookies. So the cookies, yes, you can. The thing that's fantastic about this is you're freezing a cookie iced in white. So usually a white iced cookie freezes very well. You don't have to worry about bleeding or anything. And then you take them out, thaw them, do a quick black stencil or gray stencil on them, and you're done. So yes, I think you could. Look at how cute that one is.
That is very cute. I like the shading on it. It gives it a realistic look. Very nice. Hey ladies, what a great idea for our family pumpkin cookie day. So excited. I know I have no time either.
So we looked at the application of the design to the cookies. So there you saw it's very easy. Then we looked at the paint palettes. You can use either your food printer, food gel. You can actually color the dots with your markers as well, but I don't recommend it since they're more expensive, like the markers. And then airbrush color. Airbrush color, you do not need an airbrush to actually apply the color. You can buy airbrush colors and paint those colors on. The grocery store color works very well also to make the paint palettes. And then it's not necessary to use black icing for the lines. You just need a different color so that they are actually able to see the guidelines. And yeah, so the paint palettes. Oh, and the last thing, Han, I had one more thing I wanted to do.
I have two more things I need to share.
Two more things. So the last thing I just want to show you, I've shown it many times, but I'm going to show it one more time today. So if you're making your paint palettes in advance, You might want to make your bows in advance as well if you want to get started with that, so you can wrap your holiday cookies quickly. So I've got a piece of ribbon here, and I've got it, you know, like those kind of all the awareness ribbons like that. So then you pinch it in the back. You see? You can fold it like this, and then you get one of these wire tie things. And then you see I'm just putting it in like that. And then from behind, I'm going to twist it. So I'm making my bows in advance like that. So then I can open it up, and I can use this to seal my cookie bags, and I'll have my bow on my cookie in like super fast. So I really like that for advanced holiday prep. So you guys will be rock stars for the upcoming holidays. Han, you wanted to say?
So I wanted to just share. Yes, today I released a new cookie decorating bundle, guys. In this bundle is available on Global Belly if you guys wanted to check it out. And in this bundle, you get everything you need to make these marbled leaf cookies. These are super easy to make, and they're really great for beginners. Any level, even kids could do these. I'm going to drop a link in the comments. And a second design that I have up are these also very easy Dracula cookies for Halloween, and everything comes in this kit that you guys can purchase on Global Belly. And I'm gonna drop the links there in a second. And also, where is my other kit? Oh, this is I made this for it was like a Mother's Day, I think, kit, but it is so versatile. You can use these colors to make more fall colors and create your own fall flower cookies like this. These are also available on Global Belly, guys. And yeah, I'm just gonna get the links and drop them in the comments. So you guys
a lot. Sorry if it's very hectic, but it's like I'm just...
It's fine. It's fine. You know, I'm teasing you as much as you tease me, so.
No, I never do that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Anne says she always wanted to be a rock star. Well, today's your day.
You have, Julie says, I have utilized your YouTube lesson sessions in the past and made some nice fall leaves. That's wonderful. Thank you, Julie. This was so useful for gift making. We did have a question Amy was asking, and this is a good question before we wrap it up today. Just clarifying, edible image printer just prints straight on a sugar sheet.
So Amy, I don't currently have the printer. The two things I would try is, yes, you could do the sugar sheet, but those are expensive. I would actually pick up at your local craft store watercolor paper. So that's a different type of paper. It's a paper that's able to absorb, like take water, and you could print your little dots on this watercolor paper and then cut those into your strips. And I think it would be less expensive, and you'd save your frosting sheet. So you'd have to experiment. Like I say, I don't have it to do the experiment myself, but I would maybe try that instead of the frosting sheet. If you want to add the paint palette to your cookie, then it has to be the frosting sheet, obviously. But if you want to make it separate, then you could do it with this watercolor paper that cost-wise, I think would be better. The thing is, with the frosting sheet, you know that if you have them out, they can get porous and crack, whereas the watercolor paper, you don't have to worry about it. It'll keep. It'll be fine. So that's an option. So thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
The templates, all the links are going to be in the actual description box of the video. So once we can't really add stuff to the description box as we're doing the live. So once the video is done, we'll add those in there.
I am also working on updating my my page on the blog where I will list all the lives, and there will also be links to the lives, so it will be easier for you to navigate. It will take you to the Facebook or YouTube, whichever will link up but it will be there. I don't know when, but I am working on it. And there will be also dates for the future lives and projects.
Oh, here, future
that we
live.
will-
Oh, no, this is next. No, that's too far. This one here is the 20th. This next one we're doing cute. I'm going way too far in advance. This one is
You're
cute.
doing cute, right? So
On
on Tuesday we will be doing another live on Tuesday, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Central Time. That's a New York time for those of you watching outside of the US. And we will be Marlon is going to decorate alongside with Amber from Sweet M's, and I will be there as well. The sidekick. Okay, yeah. I'm
She
not
does.
gonna be decorating it. I will be there to read your comments and just to talk to the ladies. And that will be on Tuesday.
Yes, on Tuesday we're ready. I've already got my cookies ready, so I'm good to go.
All right, guys. So I hope everyone has a good. I think it's an extended weekend, right?
Here in Canada, it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, is it? Did you make the turkey, or what's going on?
I'm a vegetarian, so no, I'm not going to eat any turkey.
Well, but half of your family is not vegetarian. What are they gonna eat?
I didn't buy a turkey because we're actually, government doesn't want us to get together. There's actually going to be like police on the highways and stuff to stop families like circulating across the province. Yeah. So we're going to stay home and keep it low key.
Low key. Hello from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
It would be fun if I could jump over to your place.
Oh, it would be fun.